Hey there, folks. 602 in the region. Chuck Pullen, Bob Starkey, Lynette in the booth. If you missed it, I don't know. I was talking to the boss earlier, and he was messaging me like, "Who's doing the show today?" I go, "Well, Bob and I'll cover it. We're good." And I go, "But you're always welcome to stop by." He goes, "No, I don't need to go on the radio today." And as soon as I get in the car, I hear him singing, testing out the old studio. So I told him he's more than welcome to stop by. He said, "I'm here at the old station." Okay, so yeah, stop on by. Or you can just sing if you want to sing over us. I mean, that's cool too. We can do like a duet or whatever. But you probably want to hear about traffic and weather first because that's what we like to do around here. So it is 6:03 in the region. Let's take our first look at traffic and weather. Traffic's looking phenomenal this morning. Everything looking good here in the region. A much different story than last Monday. Things moving along just fine here in the region. 8094, 65. Skyway Toll Road, everything looking good. On the Illinois side, everything looking good. Even the Dan Ryan, you gotta tap the brakes a couple times when you hit the merge and going into downtown. But as of this point, Dan Ryan's a breeze, Bishop Ford's a breeze. 294 looking good. Everything looking good pretty much across the board. You see anything, you know the number, 219-845-1100. How is the weather looking?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 35 degrees with highs of 48 and lows of 40. We'll be having sunshine today and later tonight with some occasional rain. Tomorrow and Tuesday we'll be having highs of 45 and lows of 36 with on and off rain and drizzle. And then Wednesday we'll be having highs of 45 and lows of 38 with low clouds.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Bob. How are you this morning? Oh, we got to turn your mic on, though. You forgot that we had a whole discussion. I said, I'm on this, you're on that.
It's because I heard you say 3 earlier.
I was on 3, and he's on 4.
Yeah, and then he changed it. Hey, everybody, how's it going?
There we go.
I am doing fantastic. We had a wonderful weekend of Christmas decorating. We ran to Milwaukee to...
You ran to Milwaukee?
Yeah, we did. Couldn't take the train. Yeah, we had a great weekend.
It's good to hear. No, you can turn me back up, though. I think I'm on 3. So I think I'm good. I mean, if I'm shouting, feel free. Like, as long as I'm not in the red, I think that's the important thing. I don't sound overmodulated, but
you sound fantastic.
The day is young. I can be overmodulated later. We'll see how worked up I get once that coffee kicks in. So, my weekend was classified. So we'll just leave it at that. And
was there some like super double tip top secret libertarian convention?
No, just classified. Just classified.
Oh, jeez.
You'll find out about it someday.
Okay.
So, what else? So, you guys know the number if you're up this morning, out and about?
It was
just getting up?
It was a very busy news weekend.
Yeah.
And I know this because I was somewhat disconnected until I logged back in last night sometime. And I find that the first thing I go to is I go straight to Twitter, X, and Instagram, and I get my news from whatever memes of the day.
Right, the memes are important. That's an important source of news.
They really are because I think they not so much tell you exactly word for word what happened, but they give you the the emotive sense of whatever happened, and it was a I tell you, people in the Epsteins.
There's a lot in the Epstein. I spent a lot of time arguing the Epstein this weekend with people that just 5 minutes ago started shouting, "Release the files."
And then Indiana Republicans are making national news
once again for doing some fantastic things,
being
fantastic individuals.
Somewhat limp-wristed.
Somewhat.
I guess we can get into that soon, but no, my weekend was Christmas and it was fantastic.
So is that just the mood, the mode that you're in, just moving forward?
I do.
Do you put like a little Christmas hat on your turkey? You're like, we're just
there. Thanksgiving, I do like those again memes where Thanksgiving is really like 3 days at the end of November. I like fall stuff, but that's good for about a week. I really enjoy the Christmas spirit. I love watching. For Liam, it's still magical, and I want to lean into that.
So we're not on the air apparently. So do you want to? I mean, it is Monday at a WJOB. Why would we be on the air? So I feel like I can just curse for the next 5 minutes until Jim goes, no, never mind, you are back on the air. So I'm getting messages we're not on the air. We should be on some sort of streaming on YouTube, stuff like that. So
On the YouTubes?
we're on the YouTubes where you can curse. We just can't sing copyrighted material. So why don't you let us
Cotton-headed
know
nitty muggins.
when we're on the radio so I can
I
say
got
good
a
morning
chuckle.
to the-
Got a chuckle out of the booth there.
She tolerates us
I barely.
barely. So let us know when we're on the air so I can say good morning to the people in their trucks and their cars and their SUVs heading to work.
Ooh,
this
in their
morning.
electronic vehicles?
No, I doubt they're listening.
Well, why wouldn't they listen?
It's too cold for an EV this morning. It's too cold.
I
It's 30 degrees. They don't work at
because
this
so
temperature.
in case people
Much
want to,
like the train, they're not working this morning.
I can make a visual statement for the what do we got? 4 people watching on the YouTubes.
Of 19.
19. So
Well,
so you folks are already going to get a visual. I stepped out of the shower and remote started my car this morning.
yeah.
And it was all nice and toasty. So I've got we've got one caller
From the YouTube.
from the YouTubes.
Yeah, we got a YouTube call.
Wow, a YouTube caller. They could be anywhere in the entire world. That's
they're
exciting.
probably here though.
Oh, they're probably right.
They're probably literally down the street. So,
okay.
Let's take our call this morning. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I'm coming from LaPorte.
You're LaPointe. It's kind of down the street. I mean, what time is it
Yeah.
there? Is it 6 o'clock there, or is it 7?
Well, I grew up in Hammond, so I was going to talk to Mr. Starkey.
Uh-oh. Yeah, who does?
You're a council. I understand you're a councilman in Dyer.
Yes, sir.
That's his understanding. Until they take the gavel away.
I want to ask a question. I mean, it's been bothering me for years. 20 years ago, a friend of mine I used to work with, he moved to Lowell, and it's right past the high school, the street past the high school, and you make a left, you go down about a block. He wanted to, fix his house up, a brand new house he built. Every one of the houses in that, and there was 17 houses, every one of them was beige. He wanted to buy the property next door. They told me he had to put a house on it. How many HOAs are you in charge of?
So the council isn't in charge of any of the HOAs. They're independent organizations. I would say there's probably 5 to 10 in Dyer. Some of them are some of the ones in some of the older subdivisions are defunct, meaning I think they don't meet. They just are there for various covenants in case anybody wants to put up a shed. They occasionally meet, and then you've got other places that have monthly meetings where they determine all sorts of stuff. So I personally lived in an HOA once when we lived in Winfield for a while. It wasn't my style.
See, I think
Well, I guess
that's
I guess
the
my
thing. Go ahead.
I guess my question is, I mean, all the things and all the rules that they make you and they make you do, and then they give you all this. Well, you got to pay this amount in 1 month, and you guys would be getting a raise, and maybe it's putting more on your plate. That's why you allow this.
No, I mean we don't have we don't have any connection with any of the HOAs in town. They when a developer comes in and establishes an HOA, the thought is to keep some type of consistent look and feel, and if we want to say vibe of that little individual neighborhood or community. When you move into that subdivision, purchasing houses, that's all a voluntary thing.
You already know the rules.
You're into it, and so there was a subdivision that my grandmother lived in, and one time the HOA board, again, they're elected internally, but it's more like a popularity contest. It's no official elections. They decided that they wanted all new trees, and so they did an assessment, and they knocked on everyone's door, and they said, "Hey, in addition to the $100 a month that you're paying that goes for, lawn maintenance, snow removal, whatever, we're going to assess you another a special assessment of it was like $150 per unit to put some new trees in the parkway." And I don't believe you really had a choice. I think that's
that's the interesting question about the HOAs is it's sort of like in your town. You guys have rules and regulations.
Right.
And you have to have, Bob can't unilaterally say, Bob likes purple, everybody's house needs to be purple.
Correct.
Even though in a democracy, the majority of people could do that, which is why we're a representative republic. I digress. But again, so this idea about the HOAs, what you find a lot of times is their rules are kind of arbitrary and capricious in a lot of cases. So it's kind of like you always read these stories about the guy who's like, hey, they didn't like the look of my fence, so they told me I had to replace it. It's like, well, can you point to the covenant that says my fence is wrong? Or we don't like the tree that you installed. It's like, is there a covenant that says, no Japanese maples or something? It's like, well, no, we just don't like the look of it. So it's like,
Or you
go ahead.
Or you can't have a fence.
Or you're,
Yeah, or
I've
no
seen stuff where
fences, no
no
sheds,
fences, or your car's too old.
Yeah.
Like, hey, your
Yeah.
car's a 92. Time to get
Yeah.
what 93 only? Like,
Yeah,
so,
that's why I don't know that I would necessarily choose to live in an HOA, only because the shed thing. Last year I threw up a shed because I wanted a shed and I liked a shed and I didn't. I
was
guess
it a he shed or a she shed?
it was my Christmas shed.
It was a
I
Santa
can
shed.
see where some folks may want an HOA, just in that it does. They are able to hold their residents to a certain visual standard. If that's something you're going for, if you want, every single house, if you want to live in a community where every single house has a white picket fence, well, then find an HOA that does that.
Okay, well, here's a question, though. Have you guys ever been dragged into a situation where it's like, hey, the town says I can have a shed this size, and the HOA says I can't? Like you guys get dragged into this?
We have, but those are very short-lived because
It's like you signed up for the HOA.
The HOA will take precedence over that, and now it can't go in the reverse where
so the HOA can't break your rules, essentially.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Correct. But they can have rules above and beyond what the town has.
That's gotta be fun.
So basically, when you signed up, you knew the rules, and so you gave yourself the option to get shaken down.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to put it as any. I mean that's how the HOAs go now. Yeah, I mean I don't know that I have too much more to say on that, but there isn't the we will get some calls from residents occasionally, like you said, asking, hey, you allow this, can we do it? It's like, well, if you live in an HOA, that there are covenants on that property that you own, you have to follow that.
Okay, I'm just curious because I had a friend that lived in Flossmoor.
Yeah,
or Homewood. And he had back in the day, he had like a $40,000 truck, and they told me he couldn't park it in his driveway. It's like, really, you're the taxpayer. You're paying these people. You're paying the councilman. You're paying the city. You're paying the county. You're paying the state, the taxes. And you can't park your truck, a nice brand new truck. Well, you can't park it in your driveway.
But now you just open up that can of worms of the whole. There's always, I'm sure Bob deals with this a lot. The whole like, hey, somebody's boat's been in their driveway too long, or there's an RV here, and all that kind of stuff. Where it's like, some people. There's always somebody on the block that has. Too much free time.
And towns are different. So, for example, you mentioned the car. I'll talk about RVs for a second. There are no stipulations in Dyer as to if you've got a Winnebago and you want to park it in your driveway and you want to keep it there year round and only go camping with it once every 5 years, that's
can I
your
tear
thing.
doan my house and then live in the Winnebago?
but in St.
They got
John,
a lot of HMOs in St. John. I got a buddy that's got an RV.
Yeah,
that was
and
my
they told
first.
him he couldn't park his RV in the backyard unless it was on a slab.
Yeah, and I think is St. John, Chuck, you're the resident St. John expert here. I think it's October to April you can't have one in your driveway.
I feel like it's like a week or something like that. You can't have it for longer than a week. Again, I don't want to speak to that, but yeah, I mean, again, there's these weird ordinances where it's like you can only have an RV for a week on the third Tuesday of the month, and you can only have a boat if it's, it's like just weird government things. So
yeah. All right, good show.
Yeah, take care. Thanks.
Have a good one.
Okay, so I got a whole batch of South. It always pains me to have to give you updates about the South Shore, but if you are heading that way, there's all kinds of issues this morning. There's eastbound trains having issues, westbound trains having mechanical issues. So just FYI, if you're heading to the train station, I'm sure you'll be shocked to learn your train may be late this morning. So
I have been standing at the Munster Dyer station for
waiting for the train to
for about 9 months now. Waiting
just
for
take
this
a
thing to
picture
roll
of us like on Thanksgiving going, we were promised a train by now. We are on the radio, by the way, so stop the cursing.
Oh, we're on the waves.
Yeah, we're on there. So, but yeah, that would be funny if we just a bunch of people standing out there looking at their watch, going, "Where's the train at?" I actually, and again, because this is apparently Stump Bob Day, I got a question from Paul Goddard for you, Paul. I got a question from Paul for Bob.
Okay.
Okay, so he said there are some streets that were redid, like Barron, this last month. They came back recently to cement around the sewer covers. What is the reasoning behind that? Is it to reinforce it, or did they make a mistake? So why do they, and I noticed this a lot, like you go back and you basically put in a square of concrete.
Yes.
Around it. I'm assuming that's some sort of a maintenance thing, but maybe they have it lasts longer. Maybe
So
it settles less.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they had a few on 212th and Harrison. I noticed over the weekend. This is me speaking somewhat out of school on this. It's just to make sure that those they don't sink over time.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's a settlement
Just
issue. If I had to
maintenance
guess, yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
basically reinforcing it. Otherwise, you put that weight on the asphalt, and eventually it's going to sink in. You're going to get a divot. You're going to get water. Et cetera, et cetera.
Well, and some of it is goofy government funding also.
Yes,
The
my favorite.
I'm gonna space on our biggest grant that we get every year.
The community
Yeah,
grants?
the CCMG.
Yeah.
It will pay for paving, and it will pay for some like stormwater work, but only the grates that are in the curbs, not anything underground. And so some of that money, if there's extra money in that, will just go for reinforcing the existing system. So I don't know if that was the
case. We got a grant to pave the road, so we got
but-
another grant to pave
Yeah.
around the sewers. That's a different grant, and they have different specifications.
But yeah, nothing.
That makes sense to reinforce it. I mean, that's the most logical explanation.
Yeah,
So,
especially some of those, depending on how the ground is, they just want to.
makes sense. Okay, so it is. Why don't we'll take our break? So we are on the radio.
Oh, we're gonna so we get on the radio, then we take a break.
We get on the radio. We take a break because we want to stay on time.
Okay.
Assuming the Master Play is running. So let's take a break. We'll be back with more Stump the Bob after this.
Truck drivers, don't miss out on the unmatched consistency of a Schneider driving job. At Schneider, you can find a driving position that fits your lifestyle and goals, all while getting the pay you deserve. Plus, Schneider drivers operate state-of-the-art, well-maintained equipment and have access to award-winning benefits and a 24/7 support team. Explore Schneider's huge selection of driving jobs today and find your perfect fit at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Hard Rock Casino Northern Indiana wants to make you a winner every Friday in October with our $500K Double Down giveaway. Earn entries each week to boost your chance of winning a guaranteed $50,000. Then you can choose to walk away or risk half for a shot at $100,000 in cash. Do you dare to double down? Only at Hard Rock Casino Northern Indiana, just off Exit 6 I-8094. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
But it's time. You gotta catch up with me. Yeah. I'll catch up with you. I'll be right back, man. I'll see you in a minute.
Anything else? Yeah.
Well, what's up, boy? Hey, Ryan. Not tonight, man. Not tonight. Oh, yeah. You guys are right. Hey, come on. Let's go. Come in.
.623 here in the region. Chuck Pullen, Bob Starkey on a Monday morning. Starting to feel more fall-like, so now we're officially the fall of Chuck and Bob. Although Bob is not a fall guy. You're not a fall guy. You're a Christmas guy. You go straight from summer right to Christmas.
I like the weather, but we don't really have a fall. We went straight from 80 degrees to winter 40, and
we went back this weekend. I mean, I guess that's the question. Like, what do you consider fall like? I mean, I kind of look at it as a crispness in the air.
Crispness.
A crispness, not a Christmas.
A Christmas?
A crispness
you see, yeah.
Is to me, like that's fall. But and I equate Halloween to fall. Like Halloween and Thanksgiving is fall, but so many of you guys, like by the time I start shopping for Halloween,
you guys,
you people.
I got to be honest with you. If you're into Christmas decorating and you like all things fun and colorful, you have to buy all the new stuff early October. Because you can go to the Home Depots and the Lowe's now and they have stuff, but all that unique one-off stuff that's already sold and gone.
See, now I go the other way. Like I go Halloween shopping like the night before Halloween when everything's half off.
But yeah, you can do that.
So you just got to hide. You got to crawl through the Christmas decorations and then see what's left. And
stop stealing my joy. I love Christmas. It's a magical time of year, and I was flipping through photos recently. Got a post I'm going to do for my mother tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow is the 1 year from her passing, so I was going through some photos and stuff, working on a little memorial presentation thing for her, and I loved the aesthetic of the 80s, early 90s Christmas.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just the incandescent lights. Maybe it was just the fact that life seemed simpler, though it wasn't. It just, I was a kid whose parents took really good care of them, so it just felt good. But trying to do that for Liam. And so, so we go all out with the Christmas stuff. And I've never been a Halloween guy.
Okay, fair enough.
That's not my thing.
I see those pictures and I always just look at those things. I'm like, man, why didn't we just put that stuff away? Why didn't we just play with it once and go put it in the like I have a friend whose parents saved all of his like GI Joes like in pristine condition.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just retire at this point. Just sell your box of GI Joes in the attic and retire. You got that battleship that everybody wanted or whatever.
It was the aircraft carrier.
It's like So I mean, again, you just look at that stuff like, man, if I would have just kept better care of that Game Boy and all those weird accessories and just put it in the attic somewhere instead of selling it for a nickel at a garage sale. So we're doing Stump Bob today. So if you have any questions about
– no, we're not.
If you have questions about rules and regulations in a community such as Dyer, you want to ask about shed variances or anything like that, 219-845-1100.
Oh,
or we
please
can
don't.
talk
That-
about, we
none
can
of
go,
that-
we can
none of
talk
that makes for
sheds,
good-
we could talk Epstein, we can talk redistricting. I mean, whatever you want to do. It's your show. So if we got callers, we have a half a boatload of callers. So let's take some calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I just concerned about what is happening in America.
Okay.
We won't really go into the. I want to go in terms of the press.
Okay, I agree with you. That's a concern.
Okay. I like the fact is I watch every Sunday morning Meet the Press.
Okay.
Christian Relka
Okay.
is a person that she was said that she wouldn't be a good person to interview these candidates running for president because she was a Democrat. That's not true. She is basically not. Her mother and her father was Democrats, and that's what. So she interviewed. When Donald Trump came up, he said, "Well, no, she's a Democrat." Well, that's a lie. We know that the president will lie. He'll lie for a cat to wink his eye. Christian Relka, have you either of you two ever watched Christian Relka on Sunday morning?
No,
Meet the Press?
I don't watch the Sunday shows. I'll be honest with you. I don't watch a lot of traditional television anymore. I can't trust it.
One reason why I like her, she is basically a neutral person.
Okay.
She's very professional. She's a correspondent at the White House. 50 years old, lady. She's married to. She has a biracial mother and father, and basically she doesn't take sides with. And I like that as being a news person or a reporter. A person who's not, often to somebody say, I'm out there giving money. She has never given money to the Democrat or Republican. So,
well, what's interesting, Ron, if I could just send you in a different direction real quick. What's really interesting, I was reading an article the other day about sort of, more young people than ever are calling themselves independent. So we're at a point now where among young people, the majority of them are saying, I'm not a Republican or Democrat. So sort of like what you're saying. And even like I'm seeing a lot of, so like, for instance, the local newspaper got a new editor-in-chief, and she looked kind of young. And I meet a lot of young people that are getting into the media. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting because, like you said, they're not coming into it as a Democrat or Republican. They're coming into it as an independent.
Right,
so maybe that's going to be the saving grace of the media as you start bringing in these more independent people. That I think that was the problem that you ran into for a long time, was this idea that you knew the bias of the media, you knew how Fox News was what they were going to say, and you knew what CNN was going to say. And so this idea that maybe these young people are coming in that don't have these biases because they're not a Republican or Democrat might be a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah. See, and one reason why I'm saying that is I talk to friends on both sides, and I hear people say, well, this person is no good. But you know what? Believe it or not, I listen to Fox News, and I listen to MSNBC, CNN. And I see sometimes both are, for their own party. I want an impartial press to come and talk. And I know on Sunday mornings, Meet the Press, and I know some of your callers who listen to Ron know what I'm talking about. She will have a Democrat on and a Republican. She might have a guy from California who's the governor of California on, and then she'll have a counterpart of the Republican. And then she's fair to both of them. And so, matter of fact, Trump even said during that last time, hey, I can say that you're fair. But he said she wasn't fair because her parents. You can't judge a person based on their parents.
But here's the thing, though, Ron. I mean, do you think? And one of the things I've noticed, and even like here on these airwaves, is obviously there's different person every day, different personalities. I mean, this idea that if everybody says they want a neutral news, they want neutral media, unbiased, but then if somebody's unbiased, they're going to say things that you don't like. And far too often what I hear is people say, I want an unbiased news, but then when they find that person, they turn them off because they don't want to hear what they're saying. You know what I mean? They want to hear,
right. Well,
again, like people that hear what they want to hear.
Yeah, there are some people who say, I don't listen to your show. That's a lie. They listen, but they know everything that you say.
Well,
they listen.
That's a funny joke, Ron, even going back to like Howard Stern and Mancow. People used to say the people that, I remember there was a line from the Howard Stern movie, said the people that don't like you listen to you twice as long as the people that like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing.
Yeah. Now, what's going on big time? This Taylor Greene from Georgia. She's at odds with the President of the United States, which was one of her
same
best
idea,
friends.
though, is that you end up with, if you agree with me, I like you. If you don't,
right.
I want. And the same thing was happening with Thomas Massey and Rand Paul and people like that. So, I mean, again, or if Bob wants to chime in on that, I don't know. Are they on the outs again? I saw the memes. I think they're on the outs.
She issued an apology.
Okay.
Evidently.
Yeah. Well, because she knew that Donald Trump had said you're no good. You're a traitor. You know, he has a way of I mean, I just hope that he will be more presidential. Anytime that anybody don't agree with him, they're terrible.
Okay,
you know?
well, here's the thing, though, Ron.
He needs to be a president. You know, and I don't care if it's a Democrat acting the way he's acting. I'd have to say I'm an American. You know, I'm not the stuff that he's doing. It's just unbelievable. And right now, I talked to a friend of mine. I was talking about this food stamps thing. And he said, well, I don't care about this. Well, you shouldn't be doing. I said, what do you mean? I'm a person. I believe in helping poor people who can't afford to the situation. I'm just going to resign from a board that I'm on now, Brothers Keeper, and it's needed so much. And I usually do a telethon on WOCH every year. They just had one, and I say I'm kind of backing away from that. Because I've done it over the years. Give somebody else an opportunity. I believe in there's poor people. I believe that not everybody deserves to have food stamps. But again, there are so many of them do. There's so many people who are dependent on Medicare and Medicaid. That's kind of the people I want to address the public as opposed to giving $40 billion to another country that's not there. And in terms of we have a president who basically saying that we're going to take this guy out in this country. Well, you can't take nobody out because you don't agree with that country. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll be more specific. You know, that's what Trump is saying, taking out this guy in this country. He's going to take him out.
Well, I mean, look at what did we do to Muammar Gaddafi and any number of other people that didn't play ball.
See, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what Trump said.
But again, here's the thing, though.
Trump would say the same thing that you're saying. Yeah, I don't want to talk about I want to talk about what are you doing? You're the president of the United States this time around. You're the president of the United States. I don't want to hear Joe Biden talking about his predecessor. I don't want to hear any of them. Tell me what you're going to do to affect the American people. That's what I want to hear. And you know, you don't have to do that, but I'm just saying when I hear this, I just tune out. I say, you know, there's always two sides.
Okay, so let me rein you in a little bit because you're always I always like to. So we got to back up a little bit and tell people about what we were talking about. So Marjorie Taylor Greene apologized. She said, I'd like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. Again, it's a nice sentiment. So what are your thoughts, Ron? I've really been impressed by John Fetterman lately. So John came out, and I mean, even I was on the fence about him when he first came out. But this is a guy, it's like, here's, guy wearing a hoodie in Congress and stuff like that. But then he shows up again. My wife's from the Philadelphia area. I'm like, man, those guys from Philly are a trip. So he comes out wearing his hoodie, but then he starts saying stuff where he kind of like literally what you just said, Ron. He said, you know what? I'm for the people. I'm not for my party. Sometimes I'm going to agree with my party. Sometimes I'm not. And so people like him are being attacked for doing what a lot of people, I mean, same with Chuck Schumer and who is it in Illinois? Is it Dick Durbin, whoever it was? It's kind of like this idea of like, look, I got to do what's best for the people. I'm not going to always play politics. And again, he's a younger guy. Marjorie Taylor Greene, younger being everybody in Congress is 85 years old. So you get this younger class of people coming in and they're kind of saying, hey, we're sick of playing politics because it's getting us nowhere.
Well, what Taylor Greene has done, she's basically saying this esteemed thing. Let's bring it out in the record. And she's right. But she's made to apologize because Donald Trump said, I'm going at you. I'm going to take you out. I'm going to take you out of your office like he did this lady from, she's her father just died, the vice president. Dick Cheney's right.
Cheney, yeah.
Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney.
Yeah.
But my point is.
He ruined her career. I'm just saying.
But you have people. But my point is, you have people coming in like John Fetterman that are saying, hey, look, I'm sick of playing politics. Or even you talk about Thomas Massey, Rand Paul, people like that. They come in and say, hey, I'm sick of playing politics. I just want to do the right thing. And what happens? Their party primaries them out most of that's always kind of my thing is like whenever you get good people ending up in Washington, they have a short lifespan. That's always the thing is like we got to get enough good people that like, hey, I'm done playing politics. I'm done being a part of that I just want to do the right thing. If we can get 50 or 100 of them in Congress, we have a chance at changing things. Unfortunately, they don't have a long lifespan.
Now, let me say this, and then I'm going to let you go on to another caller because I know you're backed up. I know probably after I get off, you will be backed up.
Oh, the phone lines are lit up. I know.
Right now, people will complain what Johnson is doing. He's terrible in Chicago. He's terrible. But they don't say that Donald Trump is terrible, what he's doing in Washington, doing to America. I hear it every day on this
here's the thing, though. Here, let me push back on that because, again, I'm going to be in Chicago in a few hours. Brandon Johnson's decisions, as somebody, I don't own a business in Chicago necessarily, but the things that Brandon Johnson is talking about right now will have an effect on businesses. Will you have a head tax? When I go downtown, I'm going to go to, go get lunch and I'm going to pay like 12% sales tax. You know what I mean? Like when I go park, it costs twice as much because they sold the parking meters. So look, you can talk about Trump all you want, but when I go downtown today, the decisions that, Brandon Johnson and previous mayors have made have an immediate effect on my pocketbook. You know what I mean? So I am concerned about Brandon Johnson because he may say, hey, I'm going to double the parking fees to pay for my projects. Now it's going to, so I'm just saying, like, for somebody like me, I'm going to Chicago today. I'm paying for his decisions.
I'm agreeing with you, but aren't we also paying for the commander-in-chief of the United States of America? Yes, absolutely. Aren't we? Every time you go to the grocery store with all these turfs on, what do these turfs do? They end up coming to your pocketbook in the store. So I'm just saying, let's go on to another caller. I know people right now.
I appreciate the call.
They're ready for me.
I always enjoy talking to you, Ron. So I'm glad you called in. Okay, you take care. Do we have any calls, or should we take a break? You want to take? Well, why don't we take our break because I know you want to stay on time. So let's take a break. We'll come back, take some calls here on the Fall of Chuck and Bob here on WGOB.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
Have you ever considered becoming an iron worker? Local 395 is now accepting applications for their apprenticeship program. Go to ironworkers395.com. Look under the training section, click on apprenticeship, and scroll down to the application. You must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, and you must be physically able to perform the work of the trade. Find out more by calling the apprenticeship school in Lake Station at 219-962-7675 or visit ironworkers395.com.
Tired of that cracked driveway? Dreaming of a new patio or need a concrete partner for your next big project? Call RNC Concrete Construction, family owned with 30 plus years serving Northwest Indiana. From residential driveways to stamped patios and commercial foundations, we pour with pride and deliver lasting quality. Call today for your free estimate at 219-779-9370. That's 219-779-9370. RNC Concrete, where your concrete vision comes to life.
Siri, read me that text.
Sorry, I can't complete your request.
You want me to read that?
No, I got it.
Construction zone.
I see it.
Watch it.
Oh.
Oh my God.
You're gonna hit him!
Oh, fuck!
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Brian Short, business manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save lives. We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Do you want to get a vaccine, but it's difficult to get to your healthcare provider? Call the folks at Right Care Pharmacy. They'll come to your home, discuss your vaccination status with you, and administer the appropriate vaccine with expertise. They offer vaccines for flu, shingles, pneumonia, hepatitis A and B, TDAP, RSV, and COVID. They've been serving the Lake and Porter County community for over 11 years and are fluent in Spanish. Call Right Care Pharmacy at 219-655-5028.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, Powers Health.
.43 here in the region. Good Monday morning to you. We're talking all things politics, as we tend to do here. We will not be talking about any sports. Although they did stop by the Andrean game, so we did check that out. My good friend I.B. Crow made an appearance. I don't know, maybe we can find it at some point.
I saw that.
He made an appearance. He didn't have much to say, but he made an appearance on the pregame show. And I can tell, like Joe, I told that he really likes the color red. So Joe was wearing a red hat. He wanted to go after that thing. But we'll see if we can find a clip of that later. But yeah, it was kind of fun. They had the pregame show, and it was kind of like that. You know, that ever see that meme where it's like Big Bird sitting in a conference?
In the staff meeting.
In the staff meeting. Yeah, it's kind of like what it looked like. So we'll put up a picture of that later. But that was a lot of fun. And Andrean won. Good for them. Moving on. That's all I know about the football. They won the game, which I assume means that's a good thing. They're moving on.
Go sports.
Going on to the next one. On to the next one. Good for you. I think it's next Friday, I assume. Probably not on a Wednesday. We do have callers. Hopefully not calling in to talk about sports. So good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes. The next time Ron calls,
okay,
I'd like you to ask him this question. Mamdani, the new Social Democrat prospective mayor of New York City, when asked, how are you going to pay for all the free stuff you're promising? And one of the things he said was he's going to start taxing the white areas.
Right.
Ask him if he thinks that's a racist remark.
Well, and so here, have you been following this Seattle mayor, Katie Wilson, and her comments recently? I wanted to ask you specifically about this, again, just because you have this background in economics, and, you have a practical background as opposed to some of these young people that are being elected. So I'll tell you about this if you don't know. Seattle's new mayor, Katie Wilson, says access to affordable, healthy food is a basic right. We cannot allow giant grocery chains to stomp all over our communities and leave behind food deserts. So basically she says food deserts are not natural. Corporations create them when they abandon our community. So essentially she is saying in so many words, we are not going to allow grocery stores to close. And again, I can't even get through it without laughing either, Walt. This idea that a mayor of a city believes she has the authority or the ability. But here's what's interesting. This is nothing new. I remember back when, like a couple of years ago, Walgreens was getting ready to close a bunch of stores in places, like they were going to close a couple in Gary and stuff like that. And people were calling on our congressmen to say, you got to do something. You have to stop Walgreens from closing their stores. It's like, this again goes to this idea, and whatever your opinions are on Mamdani, even the idea that he's saying things that even the governor Hochul is going, You can't do that. You have that's not in your purview. So this idea that what I think is happening is you have these younger people getting involved in office. They don't even know what the job is. They're just spouting, I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop grocery stores from closing. And they don't even know I don't think they even understand the job they're applying for. So again, this idea that in my mind, in your mind, it's comical that a mayor will stop a grocery store from closing, but part of me is concerned that they might be able to get away with it somehow. You know what I mean? Like you're basically setting the stage. You're saying you're setting the stage for some sort of socialized or government, backed grocery stores. I don't even know. Like how would that even work in a free market economy?
You'll have 3 rotten apples on the counters. It's so irritating that we continue to pretend that this mom-dommy socialism thing is going to be a real fun experiment for those people. I mean, it's trash. You can't force a grocery store to stay open, and if you do, you won't. There won't be anything there.
Okay, so Walt, I want to get your thoughts on
Walt,
this. No, go ahead.
I was on a rant.
Mayor
Sorry.
says she will stop grocery stores from closing and creating food deserts. What are your thoughts?
Well, it just shows that the Democrat Party is full of communists, and which is why during the height of the Cold War...
hang on. Walt, hang on. Hang on. Jim, I love you. I want you to know this.
Bet you he wouldn't do that to Dabberton.
It's funny how it's only the second favorite show that gets stomped on. So if you're wondering what's going on,
So are we.
so are we. Apparently, Jim has decided that the 2 hours a week that I'm on the air is a good time to experiment and solder wires and get his duct tape and his bubble gum out and patch stuff together at the old studio. Jim has decided that at 6:52 in the morning, when I'm in the middle of doing a radio show, that would be a good time to patch some wires in and sing Habaluska on the radio.
Now, if he was caddy, I
would almost feel like
I would do it again here in a minute.
Part of me would wonder. So, Walt and I were in the middle of a conversation when we were so rudely interrupted. Why don't we see if Walt is still there? Walt, are you still there? The thing about
this is Mad Mac. What happened to Walt?
Well, the thing
You guys kill him?
about the thing about people like Walt and Mad Mac is you have been around long enough that you understand that if Jim is going to do anything that would disrupt the radio, or in this case, send two different signals to the transmitter at the same time, it's going to be at 6:53 on a Monday when Chuck is trying to do a radio show.
No, actually, that's not true. He did it like about 7 times yesterday, and probably about 8 or 9 on Saturday. Because if you put on the TuneIn app to listen to the IU basketball game yesterday, you got to hear, when he's driving down on a breakaway. Hey, would you like to buy a car wash at the? I'm like, what the hell? Must have happened 15 times over the weekend that I was listening to, and I try to do my best.
Real quick though, I know he's
possible.
listening. He's listening at the old studio, Jim. I will
He's
take
not
it.
listening.
I will take a
He's
day
not-
off of work.
He never listens.
I will take. Well, he's singing over us right now, I believe. So he's singing Bob Dylan in the background. Jim,
Not that I
will
can hear
take
on
a
the,
day.
phone.
Jim, I will take a day off of work, and we will get this sorted out. Please let me finish this show. I will take a day off work. We'll go there at 2 in the morning, like the good old days, and we'll get this sorted out. This is not rocket science. This is radio. We can patch those. I'll bring my soldering gun, and we'll get this sorted out. I will solder all your connections. We will test everything. It will be fantastic. But please don't interrupt my radio show. Mad Mac, how are you this morning?
And then Jimmy will take credit, right?
And then that's fine. As long as it works. I don't care. Take credit. I don't care. Just get it on. Just don't interrupt this show. Go ahead. How are you this morning? What's going on?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to hear the 2 founding members of the region's Jack LaLanne Workout Society are back on the air on Monday morning here. Can't wait till you guys cut that weight a little. You guys go out to Lowe's and buy a bag of dirt and get a free fake Izod white T-shirt with it or something like that, and you come in wearing mediums all stretched out, flexing them muscles and guns and
I could wear a
50.
medium now that would be all stretched out,
I
but
forget-
nobody wants to see that.
I forget what you said about us last week, but I played that for my son, who thought it was hilarious. But
that's what we're here for, Chuck, just to entertain
he said,
you.
and then he says, "Is that your radio show? Do people just call in and call you fat all day? Like just Mad Mac? It's the only one."
Well, I say it was really good a couple years ago, Chuck, to see when you were hacking up a bathroom, which you probably is still in progress.
Oh,
but
no,
you had your son.
It's done.
You had your son in there tearing tile out with you.
And I had
showing
him.
how to do a little work and get a little dirty.
No, I
That was
had
good.
him. No, listen, I had him. We have this thing where since I don't watch the foosball during Super Bowl, we do a renovation. So last Super Bowl, we redid the bathroom. He installed the toilet. He installed the sink. This year, I think we're going to do maybe the stove. I'm going to give him the wrench and tell him, hey, make sure that gas is off. I'm going to be smoking a cigar back here. So,
I'd get him on. I'd get him into those sports a little though, because you don't want him, jumping over to the other side of the fence there. Next thing you know, he's got a skirt in his closet or something.
He played for Lake Central this year. He had a good season on the JV team.
He's a tall kid, right?
Yeah, I thought he was going to play basketball. He decided to play football, which was, it is what it is. And he had a good time. The season's over now, but.
Well, he's doing something.
He's doing something. He's going to the gym. He's got me going to the gym, so we're going together. And he's always like,
So
it's funny though because he thinks he's, you know how teenage boys are. He thinks he's a bad, what? He's like he'll go and lift something. He'll do a squat or whatever, a curl, whatever. He's like, here, you do this. I'm like, oh, watch this. I do it 5 times, like 10 times. Like, oh, okay, wise guy. Yeah, okay. Want to arm wrestle?
Yeah. It's the bar with no weights on it. That's what you're lifting, right?
Okay, whatever.
I can see that. You look like Mandani over in New York when they said, "Hey, come on, lift the weights." And he
you still owe me a run. We gotta run a mile sometime and see who can run faster.
Oh, I told you I can't run anymore. But
okay, you pick. We'll do it.
You want to do pickleball, boy?
Oh yeah, no, that's
you're gonna end up having a lien on your house.
150 years ago, it's like, I will challenge you to a duel, sir. Today, man, I will challenge you to a pickleball, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I can bowl.
The Andrean game went well. They won, didn't they? Andrean won by like 100.
Andrean did quite well on Friday. They won the game. Yeah.
You know, I stopped by at halftime and I jumped up on the top of the bleachers and I saw the Andrean marching band. They were kind of coming up with this configuration. I was like, wow, what are they doing there? And it spelled out Kuziak. I couldn't believe it.
No,
and the crowd was going,
stop.
Kuziak.
Stop.
Kuziak.
Stop.
What's wrong with that? I mean, it's a good group of Catholics over there. They forgive and forget. Bishop Noel, unfortunately, did not. They've rescinded his diploma, by the way.
Okay. I don't want to have you hung up on, so stop.
Okay. What you got? By who? The AI producer you got running the commercials in the middle of Walt's call?
You are her second favorite caller, by the way. Yeah, you see, like who's gonna? Yeah, Walt's never gonna call in again. Now he's like, you know what? I'm not even gonna bother.
Hey, so what's with your boy Ron over there? You're defending Brandon Johnson. Even the black folks in Chicago aren't defending him because you know what they're doing? They're moving. Chicago has never had more people leaving the city. And it's led by the African Americans.
But again, like you grew up on the South Side, right? I mean,
I grew up in Englewood.
You grew up in Englewood,
place that makes where Ron lives look like Briar Ridge.
Okay, so here's the interesting thing, and I want to digress for a second because people were talking
God
about.
Bless Ron for his service, but that's all I bless.
Okay,
for.
so people were talking about Mom Donnie and saying, "Hey, look, how does it affect you?" You know, whatever. So how does it affect you, some white dude that doesn't live in New York? I go, well, here, I can tell you exactly how it affects me because my town has doubled in size. So has Bob's and so have several others here in the region because of the bad policies in Chicago and greater Illinois. So it's kind of like, hey, this doesn't affect you. Like, no, the hell it doesn't. Like, it affects everybody because people are fleeing New York and going to Florida and Texas, and people are fleeing Chicago and moving to Dyer and St. John and Wisconsin. So this idea
and you know who doesn't like it? The people in St. John and Dyer and Florida.
Well, okay,
like,
here's the other thing. Like, look,
you stay over there. You screwed it up enough. Now either fix it or sink with it.
But then also,
we don't want you people here.
Okay, well, and here's the other part of that. You know, again, my wife coming from the prosecutor's office, we have. You know, you have all this retail theft happening. People are walking out of Kohl's with handfuls of stuff. We have police chases. There was a crash over the weekend in Munster. You have all this stuff going on where you have all of these things that are happening here in the region, and guess where they're all from? So, I mean, this idea that Chicago politics have no effect on us, I mean, this even goes back to the argument that Bob and I had about the LPRs in Dyer. And what did you say, Bob? It's because we want to know when these guys are, you know, driving through Dyer, going back to Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, the big brother argument, I don't buy it. We need it. I mean, it's
okay,
not
but again, it's like all of the technology, all the investment that we're making is mainly to catch people in Chicago.
Oh,
that
it's
are
not.
Coming
it's
here.
not Dyer residents,
right? But anybody in the region. I mean, that's the thing is that the majority of our crime is people from Chicago coming here thinking they can get away with it because they don't know jurisdictions and borders.
All right, and then we've got to pay for it though because the tax dollars we pay on the Fed
so again,
side
that's the whole thing.
End up going not to our state and not our place. They got to go up there to fix that mess that they made.
Right.
I mean, you got a guy.
Go ahead.
This guy was double dipping in Chicago, Brandon Johnson.
Right.
He was taken out. He had a union membership as a teacher. One is like the head of who the hell whatever criminal organization he was running at the time. Now he becomes mayor. Now all of a sudden the guy who got his haircuts at Supercuts or had the lady down the street do it for $5. Now he's spending $3,500 a month, paid for by the citizens of Chicago for those terrible haircuts he's got called.
I mean, how many politicians did we catch that
$6,000 suits, and that guy couldn't get in a pair of coveralls that weren't dirty to save his life.
Right, but how many?
Now he's walking around like a pimp.
Well, you know how I knew I couldn't trust him? I met him one time. You know how I knew you couldn't trust him? He had pointy shoes on. Like, I don't trust guys with pointy shoes. I'm just saying. Hey, it is 7:02 in the region. You're listening to AM 1230, 104.7 FM, in beautiful Hammond, Indiana. But again,
Yeah,
I mean,
well, I don't understand how Ron defends these guys, but hey, Ron, keep voting for him. It's serving so well for your people.
okay,
buddy.
I appreciate the call. We gotta move on and take breaks.
Later days, guys.
Hey,
work out. I'll see you
appreciate
at 9
it.
o'clock
We
at
will.
the fitness point.
No, tomorrow night. It's a long day for me today. I'll work out tomorrow. This is my cheat day. Okay, we're gonna take the calls because we're way off. We're just off. We're off the rails. Take a call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, Chuck. How you doing?
Hey, I am good. How are you this morning?
Great. You know, I saw this interview, Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, about a week or so back, and about these phones. And
wasn't that fantastic?
I don't use these smartphones, okay? Yeah. I'm older. I got the landline and the answering machine.
Yeah.
So he said they'll all be his guess. Best guess is 5 to 6 years, no more smartphones. There won't be email. It's all going to be, and he held his hands up and looked like a 5x7 dimension he was indicating, and he called it a device. He said everyone will have this device, and it's all AI, and, Chuck, what is this? Because I am not high tech.
Well, I mean, again, so... And by the way, I just finished watching Joe Rogan had Adam Carolla on, one of my favorite people. He really gets into, like, if you're into just sort of understanding government, big government, and like what's going on in California, rebuilding after the wildfires. Just a master class on how to not run government. But okay, so here's the thing, and again, I don't want to get too far into the weeds on it, but even this idea of like my phone, my Google phone updated, and now everything is AI. I'm like, no, can you disable that? Like, no, you can't. So,
is there a default button? Someone talked of a default button or something?
Well, that's the thing, is that in a lot of cases you can't turn AI. If you Google something, AI is your go-to result. If you like your phone, my phone updated, and everything is AI based. And so this was, we had this discussion last week with our friends in Hobart about they're trying to stop this data center from building in Hobart. And the data center, the demand is AI based. A lot of it is this idea of we need all of these data centers, we need all this processing power for AI. And then the question becomes like, who asked? I mean, again, it's like, I don't want to be that old man where it's like, riding my horse going, oh, those horseless carriages. But again, it's like, does everybody need AI on every device all the time? Like, is this, I know Jim's probably listening going, oh, of course we do. And, everything's got to be AI. Like for me, it's like, I don't need it. Even I had a meeting the other day for school. My son had his meeting, his senior, and I met with his counselor and everybody. And they said, all these kids, like everything we have to do now is based around keeping the kids from cheating with AI. Like everything that we do, we've had to rewrite like our tests and our homework, and because the kid just AI everything. Wow. So like even the teachers are going, we have put all of this energy into.
It'll make for weak brains on those students.
But that's the point though, is like, it's one thing to use AI, like, hey, I'm stuck on this math question. I hated algebra. It's like, hey, help me figure out this. But that's not what they're doing. AI is a second, like people used to use, was it the Cliff Notes and stuff like that? Yeah. This is next level where AI can basically just do all of your work for you. And like you said, it's like you're going to have a whole generation of kids that are just AIing their homework. And if the teachers aren't keeping up with it, they don't know how to catch it, how to do that. It's like you're just going to have a whole generation of kids just using AI just to get through life. And then one day it's like, hey, like you said, the AI is not going to be there. You're going to be at a job site or whatever. Like, hey, AI isn't here to help you figure this one out, kid. Good luck. I don't know.
He did also mention in that interview, Elon, that many jobs will disappear. And the first ones he said to go would be anybody who has a job that uses a computer and a mouse.
Well, basically a lot of, like, even my son was very interested in, like, computer science and coding and stuff like that. Just in a couple of years, that whole industry just fell apart.
Right.
And so that's stuff like that where my argument has always been, and again, I'm going to tell you and anybody listening, especially if you've got kids, like my son's, finishing high school. Here's what I've told him for years. I said, look, if you know how to do something, if you know how to change a light switch, you said you can have all the robots in the world. Somebody has to program and fix those robots. If you don't mind getting your hands dirty, if you don't mind carrying a toolbox, You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. It's like even in these meetings with his counselors and stuff, everything was path for college. I was like, look, we're looking trade school. We're looking, I want him to. I mean, working with computers is fine, but I want him to be just like Mad Mac was saying. Like I buy a toilet, I give him the instructions. I go, here, figure it out, install that toilet. You know what I mean? Like that's what we need to be doing with these young people. It's like, hey, here's
they
some
need a
tools
fallback.
Right. I mean, that's the thing.
Could you just see, like, I mean, I'm not 85 or anything, but could you just see, like, people having to use that device he talks about for everything?
Well,
how could this even
here,
work?
Before I move on, there was a great article over the weekend from the Ford CEO, Jim Farley. He says he needs 5,000 mechanics. He said the job pays $120,000 plus a year, and he is short 5,000 mechanics. So it doesn't. You're offering six figures out of the gate.
They're going to make more than doctors, Chuck.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The people that can, and this is what I always said, and you said it, you hit it. I told my son, I said, if you can change a light switch, like if the power's out, if somebody's water is out, if you can fix it, I don't care how many degrees they have, they will give you a blank check to fix that problem. If you can troubleshoot, because again, like, you can't use AI to figure out why there's a leak in a pipe or why the electricity, if you can critically think, if you can troubleshoot, I don't care what you do, you will always there will always be a demand for your services.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you, Chuck.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, as far as the AI stuff goes, I mean, just that's such a rabbit hole. And they're really, again, it's like, I hope that it's a fad. I said that to Jim one day, came running in. He was like, "How? It's not a fad. Like maybe it is. Maybe the whole world using AI is a fad, and maybe it will find a sort of a niche where it has certain uses. But for the most part, maybe it's a fad. I don't know."
I two things on that.
Yeah.
One with the you made a really good point. So mark
I
that
usually
on the calendar that it's 7.
There's the first one.
The idea of the old man on the horse yelling at the horseless carriage. I mean, to say that we're not going to have a device. I think you and I have a half dozen devices right here.
Well, I mean, again, we're not that old where the teacher said you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket.
You're not always going to have that. Yeah, we will. And for AI, Liam came home with some math, this new math. It really is a thing. Math is a thing. I took a picture of the sheet and I just uploaded it to ChatGTP and I said, solve this for me, just so, because I didn't want to fuss through it and populate everything. And so I think the real trick with AI is getting people to use it beyond just a glorified Google or search. It really does some amazingly powerful things. That is a time saver. I think in my job, I don't know that it will replace people, but I think it will probably make the quality of work better.
But there's also the question of, can you trust it? Like, even there was a story over the summer of, like, I think it was the Chicago Tribune. They had AI write an article about books, and it just made up books. Or there's a meme about a guy who says, "Hey, AI, can I eat this mushroom?" AI says, "Sure you can." Then he's like on his deathbed. It's like, "Sure you can. It's poisonous though." Like,
yeah.
Oh, you're right. It was poisonous. Like, again, that's like, the crazy thing about AI. It's like, can you trust it?
I'm sure it will improve. But to talk about the next point of actually doing something with your hands, I did 2 things this weekend, which I've always said that with a set of tools and YouTube or instructions,
AI can't put up Christmas decorations.
No,
you got that
can't.
going for you.
So I had an outdoor water faucet that was leaking and repaired that. Swapped out an overhead light in one of the bedrooms, and you're right that it. Some of these folks that have money, if you've got a leaky faucet, you almost have a blank check.
Well, no, like your furnace doesn't work on a Sunday, you got a blank check. Go in there. If you can go in there and diagnose it and fix it with parts on your truck on a cold Sunday, it's a blank check, buddy. I mean, again, it's not to say you gouge people, but if you have the skills to troubleshoot and fix a problem, to show up somewhere and fix a problem, you are an asset in this society. Okay, soapbox. We're gone. We'll take a break. Can we take breaks? Are we allowed to take breaks?
Are we allowed to take? Have we been on the air?
Right.
We've been on the air.
We're on the right channel of the FM transmitter right now, and Jim's on the left. Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with more after this, hopefully.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
At Strachan Van Til, we believe grocery shopping should be simple. Now, shopping is easier than ever with our new and improved website. Find what you need fast. Browse your favorite products, add them to your cart, and check out in just a few quick steps. Choose between convenient in-store pickup or let us handle the heavy lifting. From our shelves to your doorstep. Skip the lines, shop your way, and spend more time on what matters most. With our rewards program, enjoy incredible savings and personalized offers every time you shop. Shop online now at strachanvantil.com or download our app today.
Hey, Radio World.
It is 7:15 here in the region. Chuck and Bob and Chuck, we're falling.
Oh, do we want to do the traffics and the weathers?
Yeah, I guess we should.
I'm sorry to keep you on task.
I guess. Okay.
Well, I think I'm
if
getting
you're gonna
eye
do
rolls
that, then
from all over.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at traffic. Things looking surprisingly light for a Monday morning. Things looking good here in the region. 65, 80, 94, Skyway Toll Road. Everything looking good. The only real issue out there is that normal. You've got the Bishop Ford leading into the Dan Ryan and the Dan Ryan to downtown. So other than that, things looking good. Things looking good on 294. All the other roadways in the Chicagoland area that you care about, looking good. So, but if you see anything, 219-845-1100. How is the weather?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 35 degrees with highs of 48 and lows of 40. We'll be having sunshine today and with occasional rain later tonight. And then tomorrow and Tuesday we'll be having highs of 45 and lows of 36 with on and off rain and drizzle. And then on Wednesday we'll be having highs of 45 and lows of 38 with low clouds.
Fantastic, thank you. I think 45 is, that's a little low, but I think that's fall-ish weather, I'd say.
That's good fat guy working weather, though.
Well, that's what I said. Like, I was out the other day wearing shorts and a T-shirt. Everybody's like, aren't you cold? I'm like, no, this is my jam, man. This is my weather. Like, once you get acclimated to the cold, like, I'm good. I can walk around, I can be in shorts and 60 degrees, and I'm just beautiful, man. Okay, we've got till 8 o'clock. School Town of Griffith will be here at 8, so we've got whatever that is, 42-ish minutes until then. So we've got open phone lines at 219-845-1100 if you want to call in and talk about stuff. If not, we'll find things.
We have 72 callers.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
They're all leaving voicemails right now.
They are.
Okay, good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
If it works, don't fix it.
Plain and simple.
Right.
You know, it's amazing. I hear so much stuff out there now that I'll give you my weather report. It's nice and warm in my house. I'm retired, drinking a cup of coffee. The temperature is just nice. But this AI garbage, my graphics program to do my editing has that garbage in there, that AI. And I messed with it one time. And, dangerous what it can do, But thing is, I was doing stuff Saturday and talking to a guy on a car. Well, first thing, let me tell you about Sunday. When I was in a hospital, my GPS that's on my dash sat on my dash and was plugged in. And we had them week or so when it was real hot. It fried the circuit board on my Garmin GPS.
Right.
Sunday I went to a place on Grant Street to see how much one would cost. They wanted $299 for it. I go to a place on Indianapolis Boulevard, the same one. I got it for $129. But I went online to my wonderful account that I could buy it and have it delivered to my house. All they were trying to sell me was refurbished, which means it's not new. It's amazing. That's why I don't just go and buy the first thing. I kind of look around and see what am I going to buy, But I was talking to the guy Saturday when I was doing some pictures, and he's got a car. And I hear this from so many people. You can't even work on a car no more. Then he went to the mechanic to get it fixed. The mechanic can't even work on it. He's got to plug it in and see what the computer tells him is wrong with the car. I could tell, he says, the guy tells the mechanic, my car's not working right. Well, let me see what it says. He goes, it's not running. Well, let me plug the computer in.
The computer says it's not running. Like, well, thanks for that. That'll be $120.
It's this wonderful tech. When I was young, we had to have a number 2 pencil paper. We weren't allowed to have calculators and all that stuff. We had to do all the figuring. And it's like now, all this thing, people just go on their phone. I have a phone. I can do stuff, but it's like when I try to do a research, I first look around a ton of times before I make a comment on something because you don't know if it's really true.
Well, I think that's an interesting point. I'll get into that in a little bit. So, but anything else on your mind?
No, I just want to say good morning to everybody out there, and have a good weekend. And you guys, that light sure does wonders on them little shiny spots on your head.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
we need more diffusers in here.
I got some stuff for that. We got to go now. I got to do hair and makeup before the show from now on.
Yeah, you and all the listeners, everybody out there, have a wonderful, safe day and a beautiful day, and enjoy your day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Nice talking to you. Glad you're doing well. So, Bob, this becomes a thing. Is like this idea that we are already, even like this weekend with the Epstein stuff, the Epstein emails, and I'm like, everybody's, shouting, release the files. It's like they did. I have them. They're on my phone. Would you like to read them? I've had them for 5 years. They're like, release the files. I'm like, they redacted Virginia Giuffre's name. It's like, well, who's that? Like, exactly. Like the fact that, you just started spouting at release the files 10 minutes ago. For those of us that have been following the story for 5 and 6 years, like, where have you been? This is another one of those Chuck famous why now questions. Like, why now do you suddenly care about the Epstein files? And then what you're being told is heavily redacted and not at all accurate.
Well, and here's, I have a trust issue with this. So we've had these files that have not existed and then didn't exist and now evidently do exist again. Multiple administrations, different political parties. how in the world are you actually going to trust when they send out the email that says, Clinton did this, Biden did this, Trump did this? How do you know that wasn't the last party that just slipped it in there?
So
it is so far removed that...
Right, but this is my point, though, is we are already hanging on to reality by a thread without AI. Now you're throwing AI into the mix. And like I said, once AI has gotten to the point where once they take that watermark off, I told my kids, I said, I'm just going to watch. My algorithm is now recommending cats doing electrical and plumbing work. I'm like, I'm good with that. I will watch AI videos of cats doing electrical work all day long. I don't know why I enjoy it so much. I just do. It's like, because it's fake. But then when you start watching videos of politicians saying things, you're like, I have no idea. I show my kids, I'm like, what do we think? Is this real? Is this not? It's like, so that becomes a question. Like, we're hanging on to reality by a thread in this country. Now we're throwing AI into the mix. It's like there is no reality is whatever you want it to be. Whatever the algorithm tells you it is, that's reality. So let's take a phone call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Is Sausage Singer D'Lo hanging around there? I've been cut off twice. One, when I was talking to you, I called back about 30 minutes later. I was on, and all of a sudden I get waiting on the line, and it cut off again.
Walt, I was going to say when I thought you were still on the line, I said, Walt, you've been around WJLB long enough. You know how it is. It's the radio station has a case of the Mondays, and I wish I could tell you that we had solved the problem. But, yeah, it is in the works. And all I'm going to say is it's going to be a little while. It's going to be a little while, but I think he'll tell you guys what the plan is, if we're moving, if we're staying. I don't know what we're doing. But one of my goals is to get this place running the way a radio station should. Now, I do need to start taking some high blood pressure meds before I do that, so I'm going to go see the doctor first. But one of my goals, whether it kills me or I kill them, is we're going to get this place running like a real radio station by the end of this year, Walt.
Okay, as I was saying, in terms of the Seattle situation, I commented that it just shows that the Democrat Party is full of communists.
So,
and
Walt,
that's their mentality. And you have it in Chicago.
I mean, I had no idea. So Mamdani is what? Like, I don't think he's like 34. He's not even old enough to run for president. A lot of these young people that are coming in, this idea that I don't even think they have a grounded basis in what their job is. As if you show up and you're running for mayor and you think you can, again, it's like my joke about the guy who was running for town council and thought he's going to have, he's going to change the school lunch program. It's like you are running for the complete wrong job if that's your platform. So this idea that you have people that are coming in that have no idea even what the job is, and then they're sitting here going, oh yeah, no, we're going to stop stores from closing. We're going to make the buses free. We're going to do all these things. It's like, no, none of that is in your job description. I'm sorry. And that becomes the question is, how are they going to rectify that? I mean, and there's people that believe that, even going back to my story about Walgreens and people calling the congressman and going, don't let Walgreens close. Like this idea that people think that they can tell, that an elected official thinks that they can tell a business, no, you must lose money, you must stay open. I don't know where we even start, Walt.
Then you have to continue being robbed in places like Chicago.
Right.
I mean, the theft is massive. I mean, Munster has a Jewel, which is kind of the Chicago supermarket, and it was always a wonderful place to shop. And then Chicago started moving into Lansing, which is next door to Munster, and then you started getting more Chicago people shopping at the Munster Jewel or Jewels as they
the Jewels,
say it in Chicago.
Jewels.
Yep. And I talked to some of the longtime employees there, and I said, "You're being affected by this flush of Chicago shoppers here to into the Jewel Munster," and they just roll their eyes and they look around to see if anybody's listening. He said, "It has been a nightmare in terms of the kind of stuff that the Chicago crowd are pulling." But
well, it's funny though. Well, even when you look at places like like San Francisco, where the Target, every aisle is behind glass, and they go, "No,
Right.
You can't do that. It's right." It's like, do you think Target spent $1 million on this plexiglass just for fun, just because they thought it would be looked neat? No, they did it because they're getting robbed blind, and and your local government is saying, yeah, go ahead, take whatever, as long as it's under $1,000, feel free. And then the people that are trying to stop them are getting in trouble, saying, how dare you stop somebody from stealing? So again, it's like as a business owner, I'd say, why would I even bother? Why would I even bother being in business in a city like that, where you basically are under their thumb and anything I do is wrong, and there's no scenario in which I make a profit? Like, why would I bother? And then you go, oh, well, we're going to force you to stay open. Like the hell you are. Here's the key. I mean, even, you're seeing like, was it a mall somewhere in California? They say, here's the keys. We can't do anything with this. You guys, we're being robbed blind. We can't make the mortgage payment. Here's the keys. You guys figure it out. I mean, you're going to see more and more of that.
One of my specialists used to live up in the North Michigan Avenue area, and he really loved it. And he now lives in Indiana. Yeah. Because all of his favorite stores and restaurants and so forth, they started closing up. And when he asked them, well, why are you closing? And they said, crime, and we get no support from the city.
Yeah.
And the spectacle of, I think, a real killer was the Black Lives Matter insurrection. I mean,
all of Michigan Avenue is boarded up. How much does that cost? I mean, even when the Democratic Convention was in town, I work in Greektown. All of Greektown was boarded up. How much does that cost a business owner to bring in a bunch of guys to board a place up on a weekend? I mean, again, it's like what little profit you made, now you're spending it on board up services.
Right.
It's insane.
Well, there's more bad news for especially college students. Here's a headline story. Dated.
Here, tweak your phone a little bit, Walt. We're losing you. Go stand by the window.
Any better?
No, that's worse.
Not really.
Ooh. I'll squirt you a little more closer to the window.
There you go. Okay, it's a little better.
Okay. It's headline, Unemployed in Limbo in No Hire Job Market. And it talks about a Carly Capri who left Kansas City, moved to Chicago, and after 700 applications, the 32-year-old project manager is still looking. Capri is caught in a historical anomaly. The unemployed rate is low, and the economy is still growing, but those out of work face the slowest pace of hiring in more than a decade. Diane Swank, chief accountant at KPMG, calls it a jobless boom. How about that?
Right. Well, and again, I guess that's the question is, are these, if you find yourself in an industry in decline or an industry that isn't hiring, again, I just talked about, the Ford CEO Farley saying, hey, I need 5,000 mechanics right now, and I will pay you over $100,000 a year. Are these people pivoting, going, look, I have an accounting degree, but hey, maybe I'll go work for Ford, and they'll pay for it. This isn't, it's like, how many years are you going to sit around going, well, I can't find a job? It's like, go work for Ford. They'll hire you right now. How many people are smart enough to do that pivot? I don't know.
Well, there's a shortage of people in trades.
Absolutely.
People are willing to work manufacturing. And here's an item out of the Post-Tribune dated November 14th. Wanted, Merchant Mariners. Mm-hmm. Demand for at-sea jobs earning six figures could rise as Trump looks to revive the U.S. shipping industry. So the American economy has gone through major changes. I mean, this is at one time an agricultural society, and now 2 or 3% of people work in agriculture. And along came the car. That was the end of horses, horse carriages, and so forth. And so you have to deal with the economy as it is, and what the opportunities are, and you have to be flexible.
Right.
I have a grandson who is a senior year in the business program, and when I first started seeing this problem with employment opportunities for college kids coming out of college, I called him and I said, "Is there any truth to this?" He said, "Oh yes." He said, "The job market for graduating seniors sucks." That's his word.
Right.
But we'll see. I mean, he's an A student, and and hopefully things go well for you. But you just, like it or not, you have to live with the situation as it is. In a way, this reminds me of the 70s when you had high inflation, high unemployment, high mortgage interest rates, skyrocketing energy costs. It was clearly a period of transition, and looks like we're going through another one.
Yeah, no, that's a good observation, Walt. I appreciate it. We do have to take a break, so thank you for the call. Thank you for calling back. We got through it the second time. So why don't we take a break? We'll be back with the last half hour here on a Monday morning, the fall of Chuck and Bob here on WJOB.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
At Strachan Van Til, we believe grocery shopping should be simple. Now, shopping is easier than ever with our new and improved website. Find what you need fast. Browse your favorite products, add them to your cart, and check out in just a few quick steps. Choose between convenient in-store pickup or let us handle the heavy lifting. From our shelves to your doorstep. Skip the lines, shop your way, and spend more time on what matters most. With our rewards program, enjoy incredible savings and personalized offers every time you shop. Shop online now at strachanvantil.com or download our app today.
.35 in the region. We were just arguing a little bit over the break about AI. And, I mean, that's kind of the point, though, is that, like what I was just telling Bob, I said, what you're going to find is that people are going to go in and tell AI, like, hey, make a Marvel movie with me in the movie as, Captain Dire Man. Like, why are you going to go to the movies if you could just go home and have AI make a
Nobody
Marvel
wants
Bob
to see you
movie.
as Captain Dire
No,
Man.
but nobody but you wants to see it. That's the point, right?
Right.
I mean,
and like I was saying, I think the power in AI, in the mass use of it, in my estimation, is still in its infancy. If you're only using it for a glorified Google search, the basics has a neat way to compile information from a bunch of different sites, and that's all fine and good. But once you start using it for, again, computer applications,
Well, it's
I
sort
don't
of
know
like,
that it's.
like I forget it. Like when I was in transition, I remember that when I was in, like when we were early, we were still in I think you were probably of the Oregon Trail days, like in computing. So it was like, in one hand, you're taking word processing class, and the other hand, I'm like, look, my computer at home, like school was still teaching you things. Like there were people that were taking typewriter class while they had a computer at home. Do you know what I mean? So it's like that thing where it's like, hey, you're teaching me something that's already outdated, but do I still need to know it? And that's sort of the question about, like, with kids and stuff. It's like, okay, should we be teaching kids today how to, like you said, how to use AI, or should we say, no, AI is completely banned in school because you need to learn how to do things, and then later on you can use AI to help you.
Well, and I think with some of that, it's not so much. I think we have to be careful of. Back in my day when I had to write a report about, Louis Pasteur, I had to know all this stuff. Well, it wasn't so much that the teachers wanted you to learn about him, although that was a side effect. They wanted you to learn how to research things, how to put things together. So perhaps AI is just a tool to learn that in a different way. You can't just, again, outside of just a Google search, you have to have some sort of finesse with AI to get it to do what you want. So maybe it's just a different skill set.
But my point is, what if basically the society just accepts, like you were saying earlier, the idea about you need to go into AI, you ask it a question, and you say, that's not quite right, and AI corrects it. What if society just says, okay, just ask AI for that report, and then just turn it in? It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. That's the work. That's the whole point, is like, what if society just accepts, like, hey, we're just all going to go and write our reports using AI, and then at that point, my son can finish an entire high school class in 10 minutes. Like, here's all my homework, here's all my assignments, here's my test, AI processed, here, turned in, done, have a nice day. It's like, what's the point? What's the point of anything at that point? Okay, do we have calls? Okay. We had an official boatload of calls, and we got 20 minutes left. So, good morning, caller, you're on the air.
Good morning, Chuck and Bob. How are you?
Good morning, sir. How are you? I'm glad you chimed in on this. I want to get your take.
Hey, I love a good conversation about Chat GPT and AI, and I like Bob's example just now about doing a report on Louis Pasteur. Yeah. It's no different today than it would be 30 years ago when you went up and did a research in the library and went through I don't even remember what the file index was called back then. It's in my brain. The card catalog.
Dewey Decimal System.
The Dewey Decimal System. I knew it was in my brain someplace. Yeah. But, you could go get an autobiography or a biography on Louis Pasteur or Reagan, for instance, and get a book from someone who was totally biased on what their work was or what their political stance was. And that's what you're going to rewrite the report on. It's not accurate, but it reflects the book that you read. It's the same thing with the AI choice you use. If you go to Chat GPT or Gemini, it's like having Ron Matlock or Burley Suggs chirping in your ear. Okay? That's
right. But so here's the point that I was trying to make.
It's drawing on Wikipedia,
right?
Which is a completely biased source.
So I mentioned earlier in the show that I had just finished listening to Adam Carolla on Joe Rogan, two of my favorite people.
Saw it.
And so one of the things Adam said Adam just says such wise things. I'm like, where does he come up with this stuff? He was talking about that part about even if you're smart, but you're not, even if your mind is smart, but you're not working out your body, you're doing your brain a disservice. So he was basically saying hey, I think better when my body has worked out, right? And again, so it's genius. But the point is you're basically imagine, my son has a workout class in high school. Why, I don't know. But imagine if he basically just showed the teacher a video. Here's an AI video of me working out. He didn't put in the work. So put research aside and just look at the idea of exercising your mind and your body. You're not exercising your mind when you just go, hey, Chat GPT, give me a report about Louis Pasteur. That's my point, is that we're not...
Chuck, I thought I didn't know that Adam Carolla had been a carpenter.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't surprise me now because, I labored for bricklayers for a while when I was in college, and I definitely think, do physical labor, it frees your mind to do a lot of thinking about stuff that you would not think about.
Right.
This is hard freaking work.
Or even like when he said, you remember what he said about, I basically was working to get air conditioning. I mean, again, like just so brilliant. He's like, and he was talking about the idea that when he was younger, he was working to have nicer things. And now kids today have everything. So why would they bother? Why would I work harder to have a car with air conditioning? Why would I work harder to have nice things? I just get them handed to me. Again, you're not putting in the work. Because you don't have to.
Some of the things you said earlier are very accurate. I think anybody who's using a desktop and a mouse right now, those jobs are going to be phased out. Not unlike, jobs in agriculture were phased out with tractors and things like that.
Blacksmiths or whatever, yes. Or
exactly.
Making horseshoes, yes. Agreed.
But here's one thing that will never phase out when it comes to automation, robotics, computing, and it's being a mechanic for robotics, being a mechanic for automation. These things will always be necessary. And, this region is blessed by having a very good program teaching students how to do that right here at Purdue Northwest.
Well, and Mont, I actually literally used you guys as an example. I was even, telling them, I said, look, you have these complicated mechanisms. Somebody has to work on them because I don't care how smart, how great is engineered, they will break. They need to be programmed and they will break. And if you're willing to get your hands dirty, and I don't care how complicated something is, it will break.
And they're amazingly good, well-paying jobs as well.
Because again, just like Farley said, I'll pay you six figures if you're willing to get your hands dirty and fix a Ford. So
just an example, I hired high-performing students that were recommended to me from professors to do work on prototypes. 6 of the 7 of those students that I had recently, the most recent ones, so the last 3 or 4 years, they all went on to get six-figure income offers straight out of college.
But again, that goes back to my point of, you cannot chat GPT your way into teaching critical things. I mean, again, it's sort of like that exercising the mind thing. And that's what worries me. Even Bob was talking about the artists. Now, ChatGPT can, is close to being able to make a movie or can make songs, it can make art. Like what happens when all of the artists get replaced by ChatGPT? I mean, that's... So
Bob, the site that you want to go to right now is plot.com.
Okay.
Plot.dot is like, it's got its new iteration. I think they were just out of beta just a few months ago. But Plot.dot is scripting. It also gives you artificially intelligent images of your scenes, and can even lead to AI-generated video clips. I think in 8-second increments. So,
wow.
I mean, it's getting there. I mean, it's still choppy and it's still very it's like the worst actors you've ever seen. Standing up there.
They've had some videos out there that have showed the progression of AI, where it was 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago.
If you're a manufacturer and you need to do a safety video or something like that, perfectly good use of that.
But a lot of us, again, I came from I'm a videographer. A lot of us, that was our bread and butter growing up. I mean, a lot of guys that come out of Purdue, that's what we do. It's like, hey, these guys need a safety video. These guys need a product
demo. But Chuck, you're still going to need people to prompt the system to create the scenes. You can't just say, hey, I need a safety video, and it's going to generate a scene for you.
No, I get it. But think about this though, Mont. But now, when you graduate from Purdue and television or whatever, you go and do these safety videos. You learn proper mic techniques, which we've never learned here at WJOB. You learn how to light a scene. You learn how to run a camera. Now I'm never going to, how am I going to make that jump? I've never learned those basics of, hey, make those mistakes. I light something wrong. I don't have a microphone set right. If you don't learn all of those stupid things while you're making a safety video, then you're never going to grow as a content creator. And that's my point is it's fine that you can do that, but just like that exercise, I'm not exercising my skills, learning how to light, learning techniques, if I'm not out there doing a bunch of safety videos and shooting weddings and stuff. You know what I mean? That's the problem.
Well, I see an opportunity for new classes, just like we used to have shop class to teach us how to use tools. I'm trying to think of a tool, trying to be, everyday handy guy, but a planer. How's that? we had a shop class teach us how to plane stuff.
Right.
Okay. Never used it in my life. Almost just forgot about what the name of the product was. But my point is, we need classes now to teach us how to use these AI tools, whether it's script writing or, creating, video content or whatever. I mean, there's tools out there we need to be teaching people.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I mean, again, my only concern is just, again, we're taking that exercise portion, that growth portion out of this. And, when a middle schooler can go on, when my 8-year-old can go on ChatGPT and make a movie, like, that's cool, but she's never going to learn the mechanics of making a movie. So that's my concern.
Right.
But, hey, I appreciate
Have a great day, guys.
I'm glad you chimed in. It's a perfect guy to chime in on that. Thank you, Mont. Okay, let's take some more callers. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes. Excuse me for calling back, but when people call me out on something,
fair enough.
Let me make it perfectly clear. I am against taking over a neighborhood by gang members, 10,000 gang members in Chicago. Okay, I'm against that. Okay, I think one reason what Johnson them is saying, they don't think that they ought to have ICE to come in there. ICE just dealing with immigration, but I'm just saying, when they go into a community. Right now, if you give the local governments enough to have their own police force, that they don't have enough people here to do that. Sometimes when you have people like that in the community, it's people who commit this crime. Inglewood, number one in Chicago. Every morning you hear somebody.
Sure, absolutely. Again, Ron, I worked news. I was there every weekend.
Hold on.
I saw
it. Somebody know their attacker. It's not people like you and me walking through going through a neighborhood. They don't bother us. It's gang-related activities, and it's not. I don't want to have anybody believe that black people don't care what's going on in their community. That is not true.
Right.
That is not
Agreed.
true. But
We
it's
all
the
agree.
way you have to have some dignity about this thing. And right now, what I'm seeing, this lady was shot here lately. Went in because he said he tried to pour some hot water on. He shot and killed her. This kind of stuff. And right now, as a black person, when I see stuff you might not get on this radio and talk about this, but I need to go to some of those things. I was talking to I have a tenant, and he told me, I said, why don't you try to get a job? Because his wife worked. He said, I can't get a job. I said, why is that? He said, because I was drug selling. I said, have you ever heard tell of expungement?
Right.
Right. And he said, no. I said, well, I tell you what, you could be expunged right now. And I say, they're doing it. I say, and the president of the United States is getting people pardoned, giving them a chance to second life.
Right.
I say, so, he said, Mr. Mayor, I said, I really thank you. I said, that's what I'm trying to do. Right now, if you've been on drugs, the first thing they're going to say, they're going to take you before you come to the job. And you need to say, so you can get expungement. And again, but when you don't have where we're all to get a decent job other than a McDonald's you can't support a family on McDonald's.
But that's always my concern, Ron, is this idea that we've created a society, again, just like Mont and I were just talking about, the society where AI just gives you things, or even we have a society where we give the man a fish, we never teach him how to do it. So he sits there and goes, what do you mean I can fish? Like, yeah, man, we can teach you how to, like, that's my problem with kind of where we're at, is we're not teaching young people how to fish. We're giving them a lot of stuff. Even, that's just, again, not even a racial issue. It's just like a generational thing where we're just giving these kids everything and they're never suffering. They're never putting in the work.
And I tell you, a lot of this has to do with people not being able to get jobs, like making the kind of money. They created some problems in the past, okay? And right now, we need to give an example. Now, our congressmen, these things, in other words, they want to give more money to these communities. In Gary, they have these spotlights, these cameras, and they've been able to catch a lot. And thanks to our Congressman Frank Murray, I have to say that he's been very instrumental in having the different cities. I know Gary has a lot of them, and they have been able to catch a lot of people who come across from Illinois or wherever they come from. I'm not saying they all come from Illinois. I'm not going to do that, But I'm just simply saying that when I hear these things like this, and I say, no, this is not. And I just think I am a fair-minded individual, and I say to these, they say, well, these people won't give me jobs. I say, well, James Brown made a record. I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Open up the doors, opportunity, I'll get it myself. And that's the way I've always been ever since I was come out of school.
And Ron, I was just
Exactly.
talking about like again, that Ford CEO Jim Farley says, I need 5,000 mechanics. Is anybody going to a place like Gary and finding these young men and saying, hey, you want to learn to be a mechanic? We got a job for you.
Now Gary has an opportunity right now.
Yeah.
Nippon Steel.
Sure.
And then they need steel workers.
Right.
Okay. So I said to this is the way you do it. Go get your expungement right now. Okay. You get an expungement because right now, with things underway about another year, with the Hard Rock the convention center, they're gonna need thousands of people. Get us ready. We can't do this. Sometimes I blame the school situation that not having people because everybody's not going to college. Okay?
Right. Well, no, I just said that, Ron. I just said the school tells you go to college, and it's like, no, we need guys around here that can fix stuff and build things. We agree.
Being a bit repetitious because sometimes that's good. That's healthy because sometimes people don't hear you the first time.
No, I got
we
you.
keep singing the same song.
Right.
And I'm just saying, I see a whole lot of things, and I work in this community hard, like I said. But for somebody to say I'm approving what Johnson is doing, I didn't never say I approved it. I say I think they are hollering for resources. Okay, resources. Can the government have? We can police our own thing, but we don't have enough. We don't have enough money here. And then basically what Trump said, I'm going against all these people who, if you're a Democrat in the city, that is not the way to it. Hey, look, Brandon Johnson, what do you need? What do you need? How can we assist? That's
well,
never
and I
been
will go
active.
back to, Ron, I'll go back to what I've been saying. You've got people like Trump and J.B. Pritzker, two, frankly, rich white guys playing politics with everybody else's kids.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So, again, we agree on that. So we got to go. We got to get through some calls. I appreciate you. I appreciate what
come
you
to my, come to my neighborhood. Come to my neighborhood and see anything going on. It's a beautiful neighborhood.
It is.
Not compared with
Bob and I go to the Railcats games all the time, and you want to have lunch sometime, I'll get your number. We'll go get lunch, and you show me around.
Come to my neighborhood. I don't live in Mill. I live on the west side, but it's right now my house is valued over close to $300,000.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you well, that's what even like when we had our friend Chris Harden come to town. I said, hey, if you're going to go to Gary, meet the people that live there and hear the stories from them, and that's what we did.
There you go.
Right.
You go.
Okay.
And let's stop preaching this hate. Okay.
Absolutely agreed. Okay.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. So thank you for the call, Ron. Let's take next caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. Starkey, can you do me a favor?
Oh,
what you got?
Next time Matlock calls, just say, if this is Ron Matlock, we're cleaning up the mess you've created the last 4 years. Please hold.
Verbatim?
Okay, just let me ask you this question. If there were more stores open on Michigan Avenue, could more black people be employed? Yes or no?
Could more anybody be employed? But yes, we agree.
Well, I'm trying to support Ron Matlock.
Right. But again, okay, but even beyond that, the idea that you want to give people retail jobs, you want to give them jobs at a steel mill or at the Ford factory. But
let me ask you this. I know Starkey was born with a silver spoon, correct, Bob?
A lot of spoons, yes.
A big spoon,
so
but not
big,
silver.
big
a big wooden
spoon.
one.
That first job you had, how much were you getting paid, if you don't mind me asking?
Probably $7.
Oh, not
Okay.
even. I mean,
$6?
are we talking first job like delivering the Calumet Press, or are we talking?
Absolutely, first job.
Yeah, that was Calumet Press. So couple pennies per paper. First real job working at NetNitco, doing internet tech support, and I couldn't tell you what it was. But again, we're talking mid '90s, so.
But you kind of worked your way up job to job.
Oh,
did you
certainly,
not?
certainly. It
Okay.
took a lot to get where I'm at today.
Okay, so if there were more stores open on Michigan Avenue, maybe more people of every color and ethnicity could be employed. So if you want to open those stores, maybe not fight the National Guard and the feds coming in, so crime were down and more businesses would say, hey, we're going to stay on Michigan Avenue. We're not going to board up. Does any of that make sense?
Logically, it's a nice conclusion to reach, and that becomes the problem, is you have these two parties that even earlier we were talking about, Marjorie Taylor Greene and the president, when you go against your party, and I've been saying, why doesn't Pritzker and Trump sit down? Why can't Brandon Johnson and all those guys say, hey, look, we're going to sit down and try to come up with a solution so we're not at odds and we're putting our community in the middle of this? But neither one of them would do it because Pritzker wants to run for president, and it would look bad if there's a picture of him sitting with Trump shaking hands, right? That's going to ruin his chances of being president if he decides to sit down and negotiate with literally, the devil Hitler. Orange man devil Hitler.
And Brandon Johnson can't balance a budget to save his life. Am I correct?
Apparently not, because he's got to tax everybody everything, and it's still not enough.
I think today he's looking to pass some new corporate
the head tax. Yeah, he wants to put the head tax back in. So basically, just for the pleasure of being downtown, your boss gets charged several $100s a year.
So Matlock, let me help you with this. Take all your watermelon money and go ahead and support Brandon Johnson again like you did the first time he ran.
Okay, appreciate the call. We got to wrap it up. Do we have any other callers? We're good? Okay, so there we go. So good.
Good time to end it.
So let's, I know Bob's like, okay, we got a minute left. Anything you want to add?
I have no problem with AI, and I absolutely love having all my Christmas stuff up.
Okay. Well, okay. So again, this is America. You have the right to be wrong, even on my show. You're welcome to come on, and that's why it's great to have people like you on, so we can help guide you in the right direction. So, okay, Lynette, anything? You mad at me again this week? We good?
No, we're good.
You mad at Jim?
I think AI can be very helpful, but I don't think it should be prioritized or be made a requirement.
So is that something that came up? Is that something that came up where, like, first day in class, like, hey, I'm gonna catch you guys using AI, and if you do it, I've heard professors say like 80% of my class got caught using AI on the final or whatever.
Oh yeah. I once just used Grammarly to help me with check my grammar, and it got flagged as AI, which was a problem in that specific class.
I remember when I was at Purdue, I wrote a book. I was trying to find, it's like one of those things, like you got to write a 3-page thing. I'm like, well, I'm 2 pages in. So I was like looking for fluff. So I was writing about All Quiet on the Western Front. I would add words like supple boots. The word supple, like, that's not in your vocabulary, and it got flagged. Like, okay, yes, you're right. I shouldn't have called them supple boots. And then, again, it's like silly stuff like that. Like, but you gave me 3 pages, and I was at 2.5. Like, I had to fill because of your silly requirement. So, but again, the whole point is you need to exercise the mind. You can't just you can't have 6-year-olds going to AI and spending their whole career in school just going, hey, AI, do my homework for me, because things are just going to get worse.
It's also just not good for the environment.
I don't know.